Hey everybody, this is John from /Bash, and today I am bringing you another malicious compliance Reddit video. If you are new to the channel, then subscribe, and make sure you click on that notifications bell so you don't miss out on the fun. In our first story, when conforming to others means you are right. Let's jump right in. Last summer, I was given the extraordinary opportunity to attend Officer Candidate School in Quantico, Virginia for the United States Marine Corps. I cannot speak to how boot camp is for the enlisted, as I was and am not a prior, but at OCS there is a certain amount of leeway that is given for independent thinking due to the strong emphasis on leadership. Despite that, conformity is paramount, and if you look out of place, then you are wrong, and also a target, which brings us to our story. Disclaimer: there will be small tangents here, but they are important to give clarity to certain details and nuances that are unique to the United States military and the Marine Corps. The training program is 10 weeks. The daily routine did not change much for candidates: wake up, PT, shower, go to class, etc. The entire time you are awake, the staff's job is to stress you out. Your only reprieve is class time, as you are expected to focus entirely on learning what is being taught to you. However, entering and leaving the hall is a cacophony of screaming and scurrying that never gets old. One tactic used to stress us out was to have our assault packs, backpacks with webbing on them that can be seen on periphery items, carried by your local bro vet, packed with so much stuff that opening and closing the bag was not a quick endeavor. Nor was removing and replacing select items, the bulkiest of which was a 100-ounce Camelback, which was removed from the backpack and placed on the rear of your seat when entering the lesson hall and replaced into your bag when leaving. You had what felt like 30 seconds to perform this task, both entering and leaving. I discovered early on that were I to not get caught, simply leaving the water source in my bag and sipping from the tube was a much more expedient and less stressful way of entering and leaving the hall, so that is what I did. Soon, others from my platoon began to catch on, but the other platoons seemingly did not. Enter independent thinking. Our candidate platoon commanders within the company would meet and cross-reference their individual platoon's plans so that all ideas meshed and every platoon was in sync. They would develop plans and get them approved by our instructor staff for the day-to-day goings of the platoon. This normally took place when everyone was supposed to be sleeping because it required sneaking out and going up a deck or two to the rendezvous spot. At some point towards the end of our cycle, my method of handling the study hall was proposed to the other candidates. I am assuming I was not there. I did not forward the idea. I simply was in the right place at the right time to see this plan unfold the next day. Cue our malicious compliance to adherency to conformity. Our day starts with the usual amount of screaming and scurrying. Virginia is hot and muggy. Our staff is calling members various names and informing our platoon that we would have been better uses to society as abortions. All is right with the world as we march to the study hall, henceforth called Yeckle Hall. I enter the hall, remove my cover, hat, place my M16 into the armory, and scurry over to a seat to grab my textbook and begin screaming knowledge as we wait to start. I smirk, which is normally asking to have one-on-one PT time with your favorite staff member, but because of the pandemic, everyone is wearing masks. And I say to myself, the girls, 1st Platoon, left their water sources in their assault packs as well. Well, I was not the only person to notice, so too did a staff sergeant from 1st Platoon. Tangent and important distinction. In the Marine Corps, women train women and men train men. Segregation by sex is alive and well, and these women are the toughest and meanest individuals I have ever come across. To round this out, these particular sergeant instructors were doubly sadistic to their platoon and anyone else who was near them. To have one take notice of you or to question you was not something that was sought out. Back to the story. Staff Sergeant Rage calls the candidate platoon sergeant and candidate platoon commander over into the aisle. "What is wrong with your platoon?" she asks exacerbatedly. The candidates do not immediately know what she is asking about. After a couple of more angry questions comes the winning ticket. Why is it that after all this time, your entire platoon sees fit to leave their camelbacks inside of the assault packs? Have we ever done that? Has that ever been okay? Why is that happening? Candidate, wish you weren't here? At this point, I am looking out of the corner of my eye and straining my ears to hear because I wanted no part of this staff sergeant's wrath and felt sorry for what was happening to this candidate platoon commander. She responds, screams back with an absolute unit of answers, which was one this staff sergeant never expected. Good morning, Staff Sergeant. These candidates' water sources are in their assault packs because the other platoons in the company are doing the same thing. The Staff Sergeant thought she misheard. What did you say? The candidate repeats herself in a more confident tone. It was at this point I saw one of the most comical looks appear on a staff member's face. The Staff Sergeant looks around and notices everyone else doing the exact same thing. She realized exactly what had been orchestrated, but also knew that lack of conformity kills. She would not punish the entire company, even though we were all breaking the rules, and could not hold up the lesson as there was a strict schedule to keep. After a brief look of shock, mixed with befuddlement, the Staff Sergeant regained her composure and stated, "Very well then," and simply left. After that moment, our company had one less thing to remove from our bags and one less thing to replace in our bags. It's the little victories that matter, and I am certain that whoever that candidate was counted that moment as David toppling Goliath. I hope you enjoyed my story. In story 2, my new boss is messing with the wrong single mother. A little background. I just gave birth a few months ago. During my maternity leave, I got a request to join in on a Zoom meeting. They said it was very important, so I obliged. I love my company so much. They have really had my back since I became pregnant. I'm a single mom. I got quite sick during my 6th month. The meeting was about me being transferred to work under a new boss due to some company realignment. My new boss then started regularly calling me and asking me to do stuff. All stuff which could wait until I returned from my maternity leave because of course everyone knows I'm on leave. She keeps saying that there is a deadline for some online learning and stuff like that. She also asked me to attend some meetings, the company annual online party. She said attendance was mandatory. When I am there, my office mates will ask me why I'm attending since I'm on leave. Well, I'm the kind of person who doesn't really complain much. If I can do it, I just do it. Talking back or talking ill against somebody is just a waste of my energy. Everything is remote anyways, and my baby is sleeping almost all the time. My camera is off so I can breastfeed. Now fast forward to this week. It's been 3 weeks since I'm officially back to work, still using the work at home setup. I know bosses have different leadership styles, but I'm afraid I can say she's kind of a pain in the butt. She demands everything be done ASAP, when many of these jobs are the things which really should take a little more time to get the best results. She will talk in the sweetest voice and tone, but her message is basically telling you to flipping finish this now. Just imagine an evil character in a movie smiling at you, but the eyes are scary while telling you that she's about to kill you. I then found out from my old boss that this new boss is full of pride and always competing to be the best. She never asks for help from anyone because she is trying to impress the big boss all the time. 2 days ago, I messaged her sincerely apologizing that I have to apply for leave the following day because I have to take my baby to get vaccines. I said I was sorry for the short notice. I already have it booked in my calendar a week from now and was planning to apply for leave this weekend, but the doc secretary just called and it has to be sooner. In my country, single parents have a special status, including special IDs, where it is valid for us to take leaves like this. She called me up to ask me how many hours it should take. I told her that the appointment was taking place in the morning, but that I needed to be off for the day because often babies get a fever after this vaccine, and of course I want to be there to take care of my baby. She said since we are just working from home, that I don't really need to apply for leave. I should just adjust my working hours. I tried to explain that I really wanted to take the entire day off and not work at all, especially at night because I wanted to observe my baby. She literally ignored me, not letting me talk, then said goodbye and hung up. Imagine my surprise when around 9 a.m. this mother flipper messaged me to join in on the conference call for our meeting. Cue malicious compliance. I told her that I was on my way to the clinic, but that I would join in once I got settled. I was riding the tuk-tuk to the health center, so I couldn't join just yet as I was holding onto my baby. Once I got to the clinic, I was happy to oblige her by joining in on the conference call. I just did it from a room full of crying babies. At my clinic, all the vaccinations are scheduled for the same day, so it felt like half of the town's babies were there. The meeting had a whole lot more crying than they expected. I did press mute, of course, but whenever it was my turn to talk, I had to speak super close to the microphone to even have a chance of being heard while babies were shouting, either due to their injections, crying just because they were bored, or maybe laughing at my boss. My own baby was so cute, just quietly latching onto me. I could hear the regret in my boss's voice for not allowing me to take the day off, but she couldn't do anything about it at that point. I'm just staying in the meeting, answering all her questions and impressing everyone in my team like a boss. I could imagine their faces as they had to lower their volume whenever it was my turn to speak. Immediately afterwards, I sent her a message regarding my baby's next scheduled vaccination, again asking for permission to have leave on that day. Of course, this time, she just said yes. Story 3. You want to violate labor laws to keep the ride open? I worked as a shift supervisor at a water park. Most of our staff was under 18 and could work no more than 8 hours per day in accordance with our state's laws. The shifts were 8:45 a.m. to 5:15 p.m. with an unpaid 30-minute lunch period. Pretty standard stuff. We had this lazy river that took 8 minutes for guests to ride and 8 employees to staff. Factoring in the time it took to adhere to closing safety protocols, it took roughly 10 to 12 minutes for employees to clock out after being relieved from their work position. Therefore, we closed the entrance gate to this ride 8 minutes prior to our 5 p.m. closing time every single day to ensure nobody got overtime. In summer, some park guests started complaining about the river closing at 4:52 instead of 5. The big boss comes out and chews us out over it. I tried to explain the whole situation and that there needs to be a change to our park's operation and or scheduling, not my job, if he wants to keep the attraction open until 5. I got the whole "you're the supervisor, go figure something out" talk. Now, due to logistical reasons which I continued to explain to him, I didn't have enough adult employees to staff the ride. Despite this, he continued to insist that the water park closes at 5 p.m. sharp, not 4:52. As you wish, my guy. I still made an effort to get staff to hustle at the end of the day, but only for show. We had maybe 5 or 6 minors get a couple minutes of overtime that day, which if held liable in court can carry a hefty fine of up to $10,000. This didn't go on for that long after, as we soon began receiving a handful of calls from local high schools threatening to revoke work permits. This is John from /bash. Please hit that like button to help with the YouTube algorithm, and make sure you have subscribed and have notifications on so that YouTube can let you know when my next video drops. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.